Hello guys, welcome to the sessions on object oriented programming with Java, and very good morning to one and all. And today's topic is on arrays. So we are being learned about the arrays a few days back, and I don't know how many of you remembered it. Alright, so let me quickly revise what arrays concept is. Alright, so then after that, wherever we stopped, and we just continue from there. Okay. So first thing is, I just want to let you know what we have done in the previous sessions. Okay, the first thing is we have been learned about single dimensionary. Yes, we have been learned about single dimensionary, and we have seen a couple of examples on single dimensionary. Yes or no? Yes, we have seen an examples like how to add all the different elements from an array, or how to product them, or how to find the large number from an array. At the same time, how to find the least number from an array. We have been find all these things, right? Now today what we're gonna learn is we're gonna learn about how we're gonna find out the importance of multi-dimensional arrays. Okay, so today we're gonna learn about multi-dimensional array and how to construct a multi-dimensional array. Before I'm starting about multi-dimensional array, let me tell you what is actually multi-dimensional array. Multi-dimensional is an array which consists of more than single row and followed by more than single column. Nothing but it has to be a combination of more than single dimensional array. Nothing but if you combine 2 or 3 single dimensional array, that becomes as multi-dimensional array. And here it not only contains rows, it also contains columns also. Alright, so first thing is we're going to talk about what is actually we're going to how do we declare the multi-dimensional array, and how to print them, and how to accept the multi-dimensional array elements from the user side. Okay, now let me show you the screen once. So I'll just write you the array definition first. Multi-dimensional array, an array, right, which consists of more than single row, right, and more than a single column. Alright, so this kind of arrays we basically called as multi-dimensional arrays. Now how do you represent this particular arrays? Now sorry, how does you basically represent this arrays? Okay, you can represent them in multi-dimensional. For example, this is your, how do you want to declare them, right? So for example, if I am talking about a multi-dimensional arrays, alright. So first thing is we do have a more than single row. Okay, so more than single row is something like this. Alright. Okay, so the arrays are something like this. Alright. So we are trying to combine more than one single dimensional array. This is how you can have a simple all different rows here, and followed by we do have a different kind of columns also here, right. This is something which we can call it as a multi-dimensional arrays, right. So in this way, basically what we basically represent here, this array we can represent it as or something like a 4 cross 4 array, right. So basically you can call it as matrix format, right. So the matrix format is something like if it is something like 4, 4 or 5, 5. So that all comes under a multi-dimensional arrays concept only. Okay, now let me show you how do you represent this. So we can represent this one as you can say 4 cross 4. Nothing but here the first row, the first 4 suggest you for a rows, number of rows. This one, this one, this one. Here how many we have? We have only 3 rows, right? Let me say 3 rows. And how many columns we have? 4 columns. Let's say this one, row 1, row 2, row 3 and row 4. 4 different rows and followed by 3 different columns. Okay. So this is how we can represent, and programmatically how do you represent in the same way in a Java programming is. Okay. So the declaration of array consists of first data type, right. So not only single, we have 2 things here, right, followed by we need to have a array name, right. New, we can have a data type followed by, we need to give a two sizes here. The first size will represent you something called a row size, and the second one will represent you column size, right. Based on this, we can able to write a program. And how do you differentiate this, right? We can say array name, right. Index always starts from 0, which is either it is row or either it is column, always your index starts from 0, and you need to represent some value to it. Okay. So then same thing, array name, we do require a first row, or simple say single row followed by first column, then you need to have some value to it. Okay. So then say array name, how many columns, same 0th row, we can represent it as second column, and if it is integer, you need to pass integer value to it. If it is character, you need to pass a character value to it, so on, right. We need to pass the values up to n minus 1, nothing but arrays row size minus 1, right. The last one is column size minus 1, right. So this will represent you something like value. Okay. This is how we need to write this one, this statement we can call it as declare the multidimensional array, and here this one we supposed to call it as initialization of a single dimension array, or else you can call it as assigning the values to multidimensional arrays. Alright. Please note it down, the declaration as well as our initialization, because these are the important points you need to remember when I am talking about the programs on multidimensional arrays. Alright. So with this syntax, I am going to write you a simple program, right. I am going to write you a simple program in Java now. Alright. The first important thing is I need to import a couple of packages here. The first package is a lang package, right. So the lang package can be a default package for your Java program. Alright. Say java.lang.star. Import java dot, there is another package we need to call, that is a util package, and we have a class name called scanner class in this. Alright. So now I need to write a class. The class name is, I am writing the class name as a demo11 is a class name, right, and this particular class required one particular method which starts your execution. That method name called it as a main method. Okay. Am I very clear? So because every class do required one method if you want to execute that particular program first. Okay. So for example, if you don't want to execute this program, then no need to write any main method into this. Okay. So main is one of a method, very important method in Java programming, where your execution starts from that particular place, right. So how do you declare the multidimensional array? Integer of 2, which represents you first one, followed by represents you second one, rows and columns respectively. Name of array is A, new integer of, so how many rows I want to give? I want to give a rows of 2, I want to give a rows of 2 and columns of 2. So how do you define them? So every row index starts from 0 and also starts from 0 column index. I am giving the value as some 10 to it. Say that row index is 0 and do have a 1 column to it. So 20, nothing but this is the row 1 element, and here we need to have a second row element. Second row element in the sense 0 is equals to some value is 30, a of 1 of again 1, which represents you the value of 40. Nothing but how many values we have defined here? This is your row 1 values. Row 1 indirectly index is 0. This is your sorry, row 2 index of 1. Okay. in this particular way. So you have an array size which is of this one, and this is your row 1 and this is your column 1, right. Every row which have a 2 elements here, you just need to have a 2 elements to be defined. Every row index starts from 0 and your column index also starts from 0, okay. And say row 2 index starts from 1, we have a 2 indexes to it, right. You have 2 indexes to it. Now this can be represents you row 1 and column 1, okay. Integer, I am just defining 2 variables for representing my for loop here. Hope you understand how to write a for loop also, right. For loop, previously we have defined only one for loop, right. So now I have to define 2 for loops, nothing but which represents you 1 row and which represents you 1 column. Row index starts from 0 and this has to be less than for twice, nothing but we have a 2 rows and say I plus plus, okay. So now I do write one more for loop where your j index starts from 0, indirect, just imagine here I represents you rows, okay. So I will do one thing, I will change the variable names here, this is row, this is also row, okay. I will go for my variables and I will change it the name as row and change the column as a C, right. Now your j value starts from 0, your columns are less than twice and column plus plus, open and close, and here what I need to write, I just need to write a simple statement called system dot out dot println, which represents you the value of, what is the value we need to represent, a of row followed by column, nothing but here every index of row and column will be printed in this particular location, okay. So we have given this particular values here, we have given the location value of 0 0, we have given the value of 0 1, we have given the value of 1 and 0, we have given the value of 1 and 1, okay. So all these 4 locations will be printed. I am going to tell you how this for loops will be executed, alright. Now I am going to save this particular program on some part of my directory, say D drive, or let me create a folder here, the folder name is Java, otherwise test, right. Within this particular folder I am creating my file name called demo11, extension of Java program is .java, make select all files, no files in that particular folder, just now we have created it, and go to command prompt first of all, right. Try to change the command prompt properties first of all. So I just increase the size, font size, so that you will be able to see this. Okay. Alright, so you can just see that your file in the location, I mean your control is in the location of C drive, users folder, and so and so file, okay. Now let me get back to that particular location where your folder is presented. My folder is in D drive, okay, so I don't have a D drive in this location, in this particular machine, so it is of E drive, okay. So now let me switch to E drive here, and here we have a folder name called test, yes, we have a folder name called test in this also. Now let me check how many files are there in that. Yes, we do have a file name called demo1.java. This is a file where I want to compile this particular program now. So how do I compile this particular program? Javac is a command to compile your Java program, and the file name is demo11.java. Yes, it takes a couple of seconds time to compile your program. Once you don't have any errors, it directly give you one more file there, okay. Just check it out, there is one more file is automatically created, the file name called demo1.java. This is the file name we have created, but this is a file which is created by your Java compiler, nothing but if you generated .class file, in the sense your program is perfectly correct, 100% correct, so that when it is get compiled it will be generated .class file, nothing but you need to dump this particular file into JVM. How to dump it? Demo11 is a file name, then it will be get into a JVM JVM will execute your program and it just give you the output here. Now let's look at this output, and people will get confused here that all the elements which is displayed in single column here, because as I can do the same thing with a single dimensional also, but what is the importance of multi-dimensional here? Yes or no? So yes, we have printed elements in proper order, but here what I need to do is I need to customize my program now. So first I will do one thing, I will make them print nothing but all elements will be printed in same line, save this particular program and again compile them, right. Compilation is got succeeded and execute this particular program demo 11, and you can just see that again all the elements is printed in single row now. Previously all the elements is printed in column, now all elements is printed in row now. But as what we are expected, we have expected the output in this particular format. So all things has to be displayed like in this way, nothing but you need to display the elements like rows and columns wise, but all the output what it displayed is either it has to be in single row or it has to be in single column. So again you need to customize your program. What I want to do is after printing inner for loop, I will just write a simple system dot out dot a println statement, not passing any parameters to it, just calling a method, that's it. Again I do compile my program, again execute this particular program. Now you can understand the output of this particular program, and here output of this program is telling you that 10, 20 is in row 1 and 30, 40 is in row 2 and 10, 30 is in column 1, 20, 40 is in column 2. So most of the people has get confused that if I am writing this 2 for loop, how your compiler get execute this particular program is. Now let me tell you in brief about this. Yes, okay, just look at this particular program, it is pretty much important. You need to understand, if you understand this example or if you understand the execution process of inner for loop, then it is pretty simple to understand the next couple of programs also. So first thing is, you could just imagine here, your first thing is your row value is started from 0, right. So nothing but R value is initialized to 0, 0 is less than 2, it is correct, nothing but the container, the particular thing will be returns to you the value as 2, it is true. So as soon as when the condition is returns true, the control will be entered into this particular for loop now. So here as soon as the control is entered into a for loop, again it have one more for loop there, yes or no, we have one more for loop is presented here. Nothing but again what is compiler will do is compiler will start executing this for loop now. Here the value of C is defined as 0 and C is less than 2, nothing but 0 is less than 2, it is correct, true, and internally about this for loop, it is contains some system.out.println statement or print statement. What is the value it is trying to print? It is trying to print the value of A of, what is the value of R? It is 0. What is the value of C here? It is also 0, nothing but it is going to fetch the element which is presented in the location of 0, 0. For example, the location value is some 10, so nothing but 10 will be printed for the first time. And most of the people will get confused here that after printing this element, whether this particular controller moves C++ or else R++, right. Don't be confused here, as soon as when the control is executed this, it moves to C++ unless or until the inner for loop is not finished the process of execution, then the control does not move to R++ here. Nothing but what happened here, it is C++ here, C++ will be previously 0, now it is becomes as 1, 1 is less than 2, nothing but after incrementing the value of C, it is going to check the condition again, the condition is 1 less than 2, correct. So now again you have a again system.out.println statement 0 and the what is the column value now, the column value is 1, and imagine that what is the value is present in that location, 20. So 20 will be 10 and 20 will be printed in first row now. again it goes to C++, here again it goes to C++, increment the value of C, previously 1, now it is becomes as 2, 2 less than 2. Now it is meaningless condition, then the value will be returns false, then no statement will be executed from the inner for loop, and it goes to the statement where it is presented here. The statement which is presented here, that is something called system.out.println, and nothing but your control will goes to the next line, it will be waits or it will be blinks in this particular location now. So here what will happen is, previously value of R is 0, right, it directly will not go out of this for loop, again it goes to R++ here. Previously R value is 0, now R++ becomes 1 less than 2, correct, and again inner for loop will start executed from 0, nothing but C is 0, 0 less than 2, correct, and again this will be repeated for 2 times, and nothing but when it is repeated for twice, it will be the values will be fetched A of 1 of 0 and the next one is A of 1 comma 1, nothing but it will be prints the value of 30 and 40. This is how your output is also printed. Just look at here, your output is also 10, 20, 30, 40 as in the same manner how we are expected to print also. Now very clear guys, it is very important to remember how you write this particular for loops and at the same time how to execute this particular for loops. Okay, so I will do some modification to this particular program. So I'll write one more program so that I will just do some changes in this particular program. So how do I change this here is, first I am importing one Java package, that is lang package, importing all the classes of lang package and importing util package with only one class, that is scanner class, right. And here we do have one class name, right. The class name I am writing here something, call it as say class name demo, or previously 1 we have written, now I am going to write it as 1 2, right. Now I am going to write one public static void main method, alright. So now I am writing one string variable, alright. So I am writing a string variable here, and here within this I do define once again a double dimensional array. Let us say the name of array is C1, okay, you can write any name, it does not matter, that is a user defined name, you can write any name to it, no problem in that, okay. So I am giving the size of row is 2 and columns also 2, okay, right. For example, if you are not giving also no problem, and directly before putting a semicolon, I am writing the elements of all the rows here, nothing but here row 1 element is 1 comma 2 and row 2 elements is 3 comma 4. Nothing but what is mean to say this statement is, this statement mean to say that your declaration as well as initialization has been presented in single value, or else I can call it as single statement. So previous example you can just imagine that first I was declared that particular array and followed by I have initialized the value to it. Instead of doing this, I am trying to put it everything in a single statement where your values of 1 comma 2, 3 comma 4 will be represents you row 1 and followed by row 2. So here you just imagine that why I am not writing a column elements, most of the people have a doubt in that. So only row elements can be written here, because of what, as soon as if you write this row element, automatically your columns will be constructed. So nothing but if I am write 1 comma 2 here, just imagine this 1 and 2 I am writing is you know that it is only row, okay. But if you just observe or not, here you have one column and you have one more column here, 2 columns automatically constructed, right. That is the reason whenever you are trying to go for multi-dimensional arrays, do not define only any column elements, only define row elements. Okay, once you define them, directly write say R comma C Okay, say for loop, your R value is defined it as 0, R is less than twice, R can say R plus plus, right. Then I will go to inner for loop, again I will define C value is 0, C is less than for twice and again C plus plus, right. So then I can write here a system dot out dot print, right, say R A of what is the name of array, C1 of R and C, after printing an element giving a small space between an element and an element, then I can write here something, call it as system dot out dot println to the next line, system dot out dot println to the next line, no. So this will be finish your process now. Okay. So now this one thing you need to understand from the previous example to this example. In previous example we are trying to define the arrays, same multi-dimensional array, but we have differentiated a declaration and we have differentiated initialization, but here I am not doing that, everything has been presented in only in single statement. Okay. So very important thing you need to remember, guys, this will be helpful whenever you go for in interviews. They will ask you to find out the perfect, or they will ask you to find out the correct syntax of multi-dimensional arrays in Java. Alright. So this is one of the valid syntax for Java in C++ as well as in Java also. Now what is the class name? Demo12, extension of your Java program is .java. Let's check it out. We are in the same folder in the E drive. Okay. Now let me go to that particular drive, right. So right now we are in the same drive. Now let me see this Java C followed by demo12.java, right. It got compiled successfully, right. Then Java followed by say demo12 is the name of the file where I want to execute. Just check it out here, you got the output as we are expected, yes or no. So this is how we can able to find here. Am I very clear now? Yes. So just understand how I am trying to change this particular program. Now let me write one more program where in this particular program I am trying to tell you how do you read a multiple elements from a user side. Okay. Java.lang.star is a package, is a default package, and I am trying to write one more package called util package, and the class name is scanner class. Okay. Now say class name is demo13 is the name of my class. Within this particular class I am trying to write one static method, that is your main method. Input is string arguments. Alright. So within this first I am defining a multi-dimensional array first of all. Alright. The name of array is C1, same, right. Integer, I am trying to define the size of this array. Size of this array is 3, 3. Nothing but how many rows and columns? 3 rows and 3 columns to it. Yes or no? Nothing but 3, 3. How many elements we need to accept? We need to accept almost 9 elements. Nothing but we have to accept the 9 elements from the user. Before I am accepting the elements, I need to have a object of scanner class, right? So let me create a scanner class object. Object name is C2 new scanner class, and is system.in is the input parameter for a scanner class, say system.in, right. Once you read this, now construct again for loop. Directly I am defining and initializing at only one place, say R is equals to 0, R is less than thrice, nothing but 3 particular rows and R plus plus. And how many columns we have? We have 3 columns also, say integer C is equals to 0, C is less than thrice, C plus plus, right. Now once you define this particular array, okay. So now I just need to write this particular loop where I need to accept this elements to it. How do I accept it? C1 is a name of array, location of R and location of C is equals to What is an object name? C2 is an object name. What is the method I am trying to use? NextInt. As you hope you understand, NextInt method I have used for several times in my programming. Yes or no? So whenever you want to read any integer format, we will basically use a NextInt method. So this for loop is reads you all the inputs from the user end. Okay. So how does it is possible? Okay, let me write you a simple statement here. System.out.println, say enter the elements for 2D array. Alright. So after that you will enter the elements here. This particular for loops will read all the elements. Then again I am writing system.out.println, say entered elements for 2D array are. Right. How do I print it? Again I need to write one more for loop. Integer value of r is equals to 0. R is less than for thrice, nothing but we have given the row size as 3. So then I can say r plus plus. Open, close, get into this particular for loop, again write it. Integer c is equals to 0. C less than for twice, yeah, sorry, thrice, because we have given the size as 3. Then say C plus plus. Now what I want to do is I need to write system dot out dot print l, only just print. Okay, so because I just have only I want to print first thing, all the things has to be printed in a row, and after that I want to move the cursor to the next line. So plus give us some space between an element. Right, after printing a first row, go to the bottom here, before closing a inner for loop, outer for loop, just write it as system dot out dot println statement. Just don't pass any parameters to it, just pass a system dot println statement. Okay. Alright, so now my program is almost done. Right. Now save this particular program in the location of the same folder. Java13 demo13 is our name of the file, and let me check the same files. Yes, we have already have some files in the same folder. Go to command prompt. Go to command prompt and try to check it out whether you have a file in that location or not. Okay. So we are checking for the file name called demo13.java. Yes, we have a file in that location. Okay. Now how to compile this particular Java program? Demo13 dot extension of Java program is dot Java. Now let me compile this particular program. Your program is got compiled successfully, and say demo13 is an execution program and asking for a 2D elements. What is the size of that elements? 9, right? So nothing but 3 comma 3. Say 1, 2, 3 is a row 1, 4, 5, 6, row 2, 7, 8 and 9. It is a row 3. See that? You have printed all the elements in one particular format. Yes or no? So this is how we can able to find the multi-dimensional elements to read it. This is the process. This is the place where you need to read these elements. Alright, and here this will be for print the elements. Right? Hope you understand that, right? So here wherever you can use a scanner class, that will be used for reading. Wherever you can use the print method, that will be used for print that particular elements. Alright, understood these examples? Because these are the examples will be helpful for the tomorrow session, because tomorrow session I want to find out a few important factors from this particular multi-dimensional array. So sometimes I want to print the elements like 1, 5, 9, or sometimes I want to print the elements like 3, 5 or 7. It's something like that. Sometimes I'll take two different arrays like array 1 as well as array 2, I'll add them both. Sometimes I'll multiply them, right? So in this particular format, you have to remember these 3 examples for compulsory. This is a base example, right? Little advanced example is the second one. Declaration and initialization in the same line. This is a little advanced than the first program, and this will be a third program which will be a full-fledged version of multi-dimensional array, reading an elements and printing those elements here. Alright, am I very clear with these examples? Alright. So this is how we can able to find the multidimensional arrays, and we do have a more examples to be discussed in the next class, because in the next class if you are practice all these examples today, tomorrow's class will becomes very simple for you, alright, because on this basis of this example I am going to find you some of the examples to find the addition of two arrays, multiplication of two arrays, and finding a few elements from the particular given array. Okay, so that's it for the day. So I just wind up the session for today, right? Thank you so much for listening to us. Have a great day. By the way, I'm Anil Kumar, the trainer of APSSDC.